And there it is. We are starting a brand new Friday edition of Bid Nerds. Welcome, everybody, to the last day of the week. It's Bid Nerds, your daily nerd out on the most interesting cars of the day on Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer. My name is John Polnick. I am coming to you live from Las Vegas, right on the Strip where it's happening, where things are going on. It's a Friday on Las Vegas, so you know it's a big party happening right down below us, along with my partner, Michael Deeb, right next to me. He's coming to you live from San Francisco, where it's foggy, and I think it's probably raining. How are you, Michael? What's going on?
We are drying out this morning. The sun came out this morning, but man, last night, we did our little maiden hot takes last night, and right after we finished, it was pouring in here. I imagine it was so loud, the rain coming down on the roof, that if it had come down a little earlier, you would have heard it over our podcast. That's how loud the rain was late last night. So anyway, we're drying out.
Well, Michael Deeb is telling you guys about another kind of stream of podcasts that we're doing. This is Bid Nerds. This is our daily nerd out on the most interesting cars and Cars and Business Bringing a Trailer. So what we do is we pick a bunch of cars that are going up for auction today. These cars are hitting the auction block and will sell or be bid to, or they won't sell, but their auctions are ending within hours of right now. And so we make our last minute predictions. We talk about the cars, why they're interesting, what makes them something that you would or wouldn't want, or if they're on the right platform or the wrong one. So that's what we do every day. We make predictions, and before we talk about the cars today, we keep track of our predictions. So we start out by talking about yesterday's cars to see how we did. Now, before we go to yesterday's cars, Michael Deeb was telling you about the other podcast that we're doing. It's still Bid Nerds. It's still on this channel, but we are also talking about the hot car of the day. When you turn on the internet in the morning, you get in and you're starting looking on Facebook and all the socials, there's usually a car that everyone's talking about. It's whatever the buzz car of the day is. So what we've been doing is we've been making videos that talk about the most popular car on the internet and comparing that car with cars that we think are better value in Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer. So go ahead and check those out. There are 3 of them on the channel, and you can also see all the old episodes of Bid Nerds and see how we did on our previous auction predictions, and you can make fun of us in the comments and do all that stuff. Sure. So make sure you subscribe and like and let people know, share this channel, let people know that we're here. We're a brand new channel, so we love having you guys with us. All right, Michael Deeb, I did all the business out front. Had to get that out of the way.
Yeah, nice.
Let's talk about the predictions that we made yesterday and see if we got anywhere even close. What did we start
I'd
with?
say we're pretty good. Our star car yesterday was that kit car, the Factory 5 Shelby Roadster replica. Somebody built this car. We were kind of lamenting that the kit's about $35,000, and how do you quantify the number of hours it would take to build it? The idea is that most people build it themselves. So how do you value your worth in that? What's interesting, I thought our car was around $39,000 when we were looking at it yesterday. I guess that it might still go up to about 45, assuming that it's probably, if the kit was 35, it's probably 35,000 in hours to build this thing, and that he might recoup some of his money. So I said maybe 45, but not going to get all his money back. You bid under me at 43. I don't think this car got another bid after we torpedoed it yesterday morning. Anyway, it sold at $39,000, so well bought to the second guy. And have some Advil to the guy that just lost a boatload of money.
Isn't this always the case? Never build a car. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
Let someone else do it. Let somebody else put all the pain and blood, sweat, and tears. And then when they're so over it by the time the dang thing's done, then buy it for pennies on the dollar. You see this time and time again, over and over and over again, and nobody seems to learn. Don't build a car. Just don't. Let a factory do it. It's just going to be heartache or money spent. All right. What else? What else did we do? So $39,000. Boy, that guy basically built a car for someone for nothing.
Yeah,
he just got the kit and built it, and then
just
let someone buy the. What an idiot. Okay. Anyways, I won't bust on the guy. I feel bad for him. Some of those guys like doing that stuff, but you'd think you'd want to at least kind of recover some of your time. Isn't your time worth something? I don't know. Ours isn't. We do this BS for free.
JP, $39,000. That's brutal. Jumping over to Cars and Bids, we looked at a 2007 Aston Martin V8 Vantage, reasonable miles, a 6-speed manual that you and I both love. I thought 35,000. Again, you bid underneath me at 33. That car sold for 39,500. So for 39 grand, would you rather have that kit car Shelby Cobra or an Aston Martin Vantage V8? I will choose the Aston.
Well, so would I normally, but I mean, I think that is like insanely high for this car. I know they're coming up a little bit, but I know of one for sale. I know of one for sale right now that's nicer than this one for like low 30s. So I don't get why. I mean, you can find these for way less right now. This is a nice car, but whatever. I mean, beautiful car. All right.
There you go. So I won that one. And then, Jay, I'll ask you about this one. So we look like 1987 Porsche 911. This is 993 C4 cab. I love 993s. I love 993 Cabriolets. I don't really care for this build. Remember, it had the supple leather, no sport seats, no limited slip differential, of course, no sport shifter, no motor sound package, no fancy anything. And
yet it was an exclusive package. This car, I don't know if you noticed on the dashboard, this is an exclusive car. So someone paid a lot of extra money.
For the carbon. Yeah, carbon everywhere in the interior. So that's what all the exclusive options were.
That's where you're going to spend your money buying a Porsche is carbon fiber bits that don't do anything? What's wrong with you?
At Chicago, Illinois, a four-wheel drive convertible just seemed a little silly to me. The right colors, but I don't even like the wheels on this one. The Cup 2s don't do much for me. I thought this car might bring 51,000. You were a little bearish on it and said 50. The car sold for 45. JP, I meant to ask you before the show. You put an asterisk next to my name. This is not a yacht. Was that just a typo?
No, there was an asterisk next to that, and I can't remember what it was for. That is interesting. Was it that
you put an asterisk? I was, you won it.
Yeah.
And you put my name. You put my name as the winner and put an asterisk next to my name.
Oh, maybe that was because I put it in the wrong column when I was meant to do the Yahtzee thing. Whatever. Anyways, because we'll get to that in a second. You got your first.
Yeah. Okay. So JP got that one because you were closer to that.
How many miles did that car have? It was 53,000. That's really low miles for a 993.
That's the price I would expect to pay for a nice 964 Cabriolet. Yeah. A nice 993 should bring 10 grand more in the mid 50s. So this car was very well bought, even though it's a four-wheel drive.
Unfortunately for me, the Cabrio phobe thing is real. Cabrios just do not bring the money. It's not like I'm selling my car, so it doesn't really matter. But I think the combination of Cabrio and all-wheel drive that is just not a combo you want on a 911.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's weird. Yeah. But okay, moving on. We looked at this stunning car. This was the 1965 Maserati Mistral 3700. They came with two different drivetrains. This one was the larger motor of the two and arguably the more desirable, more valuable. I feel like the value on this car should be around about $160,000 or more for a nice one. You pointed out a couple of flaws, bid a little bit, and I say safely underneath me at 150. This car didn't go much further than when we looked at it. It got one or two more bids at the close of auction, and it shut down. It was bid to $99,500. That is not the correct value for the car. This did not meet the reserve. This car did not sell. So the Maserati Mistral did not find an owner yesterday on Bring a Trailer. That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I mean, does this car just do better in a live auction like in a Hemmings or a Barrett Jackson or something where people are drinking?
Or Stratus.
Stratus
could sell that. Yeah, Stratus could sell that car.
All right.
So, and then the final car today, this is actually really cool and kind of surprised. So, on Cars and Bids, we looked at a 1991 Honda Prelude SI, all-wheel steering, four-wheel steering, and this is an automatic version of the car, but it was really cool, modified. White with like just over 100,000 miles on it. The black cloth seats look beautiful. There were no burn marks, no tinted windows. It wasn't slammed to the ground. It didn't have a subwoofer in the trunk. You and I both liked this car and wished or thought maybe somebody might buy it and slap a 5-speed manual in there. I said $5,000. Just because it was on Cars and Bids. You said $5,500 because if it were a stick, it'd be almost $15,000, and that was still a soft price. And you were correct again for the fourth time yesterday. This car sold at $6,800. So well sold and well bought.
Yeah, what a neat car. Maybe I would love to see this car come back with someone throwing a 5-speed in it and
Oh my God,
see
that'd be
where it
hilarious.
goes from there. But even then though, I mean, you got to wonder a swapped 5-speed if that's going to bring much more money, whereas an original 5-speed would be worth all the bucks.
Yep.
Anyways, great car. I mean, honestly, what a fantastic car to drive around every day. I would
Oh
rock that
man,
car as a daily, right?
140 horsepower, and I bet that car weighs like 2,500 pounds,
Yeah,
2,600 pounds.
yeah, they really were fun to drive.
Yeah, really cool car. But we got a pretty interesting, I don't
Yeah,
know,
we got a batch
interesting
of cars
getup
today.
Yeah.
If you're new to the channel, you may have clicked and found us because of our pick of the day. The car of the day is maybe look, everyone is stuck inside right now, right? There's still a lot of lockdowns going on. There's still people kind of not going out as much as they used to. So RVs are blowing up. RVs are like they haven't sold this many RVs in decades.
Right.
I mean, you can't get a new RV. They're all sold out. They can't make them fast enough because everyone wants to. That's about the only thing you can do is go get your family, put it in an RV, and take off. Right. So here today we have this is another vehicle that they're not making anymore, and subsequently it seems like the value is coming up. What car are we talking about, Michael D?
This is 2003 Volkswagen Eurovan. This is the MV Weekender. And I have learned since doing the show with you that the Weekender offers a pop-up top like maybe a Westfalia and a bed up there. And then the seats in the back fold down to create what would be like a second bed. But this car does not have like the full kitchen or a latrine, if that makes any sense. So there's no plumbing for a stove or gas, electricity for a refrigerator. I'm sure there's outlets everywhere. And it has a beautiful awning that opens up and you can have your campsite right adjacent to your van. These things from 2003 were powered by the venerable narrow-angled VR6 motor that made, probably a little over 200 horsepower. It also made about 200 pound-foot of torque. So the AC in these things work, and this will drive up a steep grade to get you into the mountains so that you can go camping. JP, tell me, is front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive? Do you know?
They are front-wheel drive, yeah.
Just front-wheel drive, but it'll still get you in and out of most places with, kind of free of trouble. You shouldn't get stuck in the mud in one of these things, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, they're little goats. Yeah, they're little goats. They will, because the engine's on the drive line, they'll cruise up, in the snow. If you got decent tires on, if you get like all-season tires or snow tires, they'll go anywhere.
Yeah,
it's
anywhere.
pretty crazy how well they'll do. The automatics in these are pretty awful, and they are known to have issues in that regard. So you do have to kind of watch out for these. They are plagued with problems. Unfortunately, because you would think that the more modern vehicle would be the better one. Like you would think that one of these would be the car to get over, say, a Vanagon, the previous generation. But it's, I don't know. I mean, they both have their share of issues. The VR6 is a very good engine, but the transmission in this is not. Yes, the AC works. Okay. So this one has some heated seats and stuff, which is kind of nice. That top to me does not look like a factory Westy top. It's a different. Usually they're the same body color, so I didn't read into this ad very carefully to find out if that was something that was installed by a coachmaker later, or if that really was just maybe that was an option that you could get. I thought they all, were color matched. That awning is not factory. They did not sell the awning from Volkswagen.
Okay, so very nice. Well, literally a nicely equipped one, and clearly somebody's used it. Our car is offered out of San Diego, California, JP, and this one only has 84,000 miles on it. Usually we see cars from this generation already at 160, 200 plus thousand miles. So this one, in Volkswagen Vanagon, Eurovan, this is like barely broken in. So kind of a neat kind of a neat car. And like you were right, they are in high demand now that people can't go on vacation. Where can you take your family on vacation and be in the state or in the United States? And so boats and vans and recreational vehicles are selling like hotcakes over the last 10 months. And here's your opportunity to get a very low mileage Eurovan MV Weekender.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it looks like it's in pretty nice shape. It's weird that technically, like the amount of square feet or square inches inside the a Eurovan is technically bigger than a Vanagon, but the space is just not nearly as usable as it is in a Vanagon. Having the engine in the back in the Vanagon means that you have all, that basically the seat, the dashboard goes right up to the front of the vehicle, so all that space in the middle is just more usable, and you've got that area in the back where the seats fold down over the engine compartment, so you're kind of like, you can never really use that space underneath the seats anyway, so that's where the engine goes. So it just, you get into a Vanagon and it feels cavernous. You get into one of these and honestly, it feels a bit like a Caravan or some other American minivan because you have the engine in the front and the way that protrudes in a lot more plastic trim and stuff that it just feels cramped in there. So yeah, as much as I do kind of like these for all the modern accoutrement that you get with a Eurovan over a Vanagon or even a Volkswagen bus, I'm for my money, I'm still going for a Vanagon, a well-equipped Vanagon Westie or Weekender.
My wife agrees with you. I tried to sell her this would be the perfect vehicle for us, and she wasn't.
She shot you down on that one, huh?
She's like, ew. And she's like, ew. No.
Well, the color isn't helping this one either. This kind of like 90s green thing happening is Honda Accord teal kind of. Ugh, God.
The last photo in this guy's batch is a photo of his Vanagon parked in his like front driveway with a cat sleeping on the roof of it. And she goes, "Oh, does it come with a cat?" And I said, "No." She goes, "Well, then I'm over it."
She's like, "I had a chance, but I'm out."
Yeah, totally.
Now that's interesting. Wait a second. So I'm looking at this picture all of a sudden. So it looks like maybe the top was repainted. That's why it's a different color, or it was stripped. Because here's a picture of the top and it's color matched.
He claims to have two that are the same color, so maybe that's the other one.
Oh,
and he's showing how the clear coat peeled off of that. I think because there was something about that in the comments. There's the cat that Esther saw. But anyways, whatever, JP. This one is sitting at $24,000 with nearly 5 hours still to go on quite a bit of action at 22 bids. I'm going to go ahead and say that I think this car will bring $28,500 and sell at that price.
Yeah, I mean, that's possible. Some of these are going in the 30s. I mean, Westies with, a Westie Eurovan, if it had all the plumbing and all the stuff, it's certainly going to be in the high 30s. So, I mean, I could even see one breaking 40 that if it were in really good shape. And this one does appear to be in really good condition. As much as I don't personally, like it, it really does seem pretty nice. What was your bid? You said
$28,500 because it was at $23,500 last night.
I'm gonna say $29,999. I'm gonna say it just kisses 30,000. Maybe it makes 30, but I'm gonna go right above you because I think it might make it. Yeah, there it is. Look at that. Okay. The guy's doing some drone work there. Okay, whatever. All right. There it is. Go camping, guys. See you on the trail. Whippity-ki-yay. All right, so what do we got next?
Let's jump over to cars and bids. We're gonna just go up the coast, I think, to San Jose, California, where we have found a 2017 Audi S3 sedan. Listen, I know you're not a big fan of Audis. I will remind you that this one is still under warranty. It has just 20,500 miles. But I like that Audi's making these hot cars. What's weird to me is that, in my adult life, all of the different platforms have grown in size. So, a 5 Series BMW is now today the size of what the old 7 Series is. And today a 3 Series BMW is the size of what an old 5 Series BMW used to be. And so Audi has kind of had to, answer that call. A4 is now as big as what an A6 used to be. And so now they're bringing in this smaller platform of car. And I just love that they're making hot rod versions of this. I was at Cars Un Cafe and met a nice couple that was visiting Vegas in their RS3 where they had swapped the turbo. And man, they were like, "Michael, you have to do this thing around the block." I couldn't believe how fast that little sucker was. And since I've been kind of smitten that the RS3 and S3 is this sort of cool little platform that if you wanted to tune a car, you could really make something out of it. So here is a beautiful one that's white with a black dash and red leather seats. some very cool 5-star looking machine finish wheels. No nonsense, no real modifications to this car, no known flaws outside of just regular wear and tear. This would be a great car to commute in, and something you could probably take on a back road. Now, again, I'm not suggesting that this is a true sports car, but it had to have a little commuter to get you back and forth. You could do a lot worse than getting yourself something fun like this. What do you say, JP? Did I sold you on this or no?
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic car to take directly to CarMax. I mean, what is this doing here? It is, I mean, look, I don't have any problem. It actually really is a pretty car. I've said it a million times. I love Audi interiors. I mean, they just keep making really cool looking stuff. If you want whiz-bang, if you want to shoot down Klingons, they are your go-to car of choice. I mean, there's more... I mean, you can order a cheeseburger Happy Meal at McDonald's right from your dashboard in this thing. It has got every bit of... There's iPads everywhere you look. I mean, rivaling like a Tesla or something. And I know they're fast and they're fun. And yeah, I'm not kidding when I say I do like this car. But... it's a 2017. It's got pretty low miles. It's not that special. It doesn't have a manual. So what the hell is it doing here when you could just sell this car? You could find these anywhere and just take it to CarMax. What the hell? Why bother going through the heartache and trouble of an auction where, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I do get the car. I like the car. Don't get me wrong, because, especially since it's under warranty and it's new. All right. Tell me why you sell it here and not on your local Craigslist or Auto Trader, or just go to CarMax and drop it.
JP, you wind up getting into a really good point, because I would say that the book value on this car is probably in the mid 30s, and I don't see this auction. I mean, this auction might not even break 30,000. So It's interesting to see where the reserve is, and this guy going to have wasted his time. Because the longer he waits to take it to CarMax, the less he's going to get for it.
Right? Yeah, it's depreciating by the second. It's an Audi.
We just watched it depreciate $500 since we started talking about it.
A check engine light is moments away on this car. So,
and another couple of thousand once people start watching our show.
The second the warranty is up, there are about 40 things that will break on this car. That's just how it goes. Right. Okay. Neat car, great car while it's under warranty. Not anything special. Maybe if it was an RS3, you could make an argument for it being here. But I think Cars and Bids, come on, you guys are struggling a bit. And I think they're just basically taking anything that they could get that they can kind of make any kind of argument that it's an enthusiast car. All right. I mean, all right. Yeah,
so
it's not. They're not going to be making. This car is not going to sell. I'm sure that the reserve is higher than this thing will go to. What is your bid?
I agree with you. I'm gonna steal your bid from the Eurovan and go $20,999 because I don't think it's gonna break 30.
Yeah. I'm gonna go under. Then I'm gonna say 27. Give it a little bit of a spread. Because that's another $3,000 or $4,000. There are a lot of bids here, so I could be wrong, and so it could get shit. Now that I think of it, but I already said my number, so there it is. I'll stick to it. I won't change my number like someone else I know.
This guy. Yep.
All right. Let's see if we let's see now we do. This is Bid Nerds, where we talk about the most interesting cars and bids and bring a trailer. So we do apologize for bringing you a car that is clearly not interesting. So sorry about that, Audi. We're about the least interesting thing on the platforms. But all right, let's find an interesting car. What's next?
JD, there are very few cars in the world I would trade 84 M491 Turbo look Carrera for. But this 1989 slate gray 911 turbo cab with the 1 year only 5-speed manual transmission and that stunning burgundy leather interior with just 22,000 miles out of Springfield, Missouri, might be the car that would get me to part ways with my pink slip, because man, oh man, that is a gorgeous 911. That to me is, I got goosebumps looking at this thing. Oh, it is freaking gorgeous. There seems to be multiple times in Tennessee in previous years they had a mileage discrepancy. And so this car sits on a branded title that it's not the actual mileage. But ladies and gentlemen, if you just look at the odometer on these things. Now, I know some real Porsche heads will say, oh, the plastic used on the odometer break, and this might not be the actual mileage. That's not what they're talking about here. Mm-hmm. There's 0 before 22. I really doubt seriously that it's anything other than the accurate actual mileage on this car. So as silly as it is, as it seems, I wouldn't let the branded title hold me back from reaching for this car, because slate gray is super, super rare. The burgundy interior is super, super rare. A 911 Turbo Cabriolet with just 22,000 miles is super rare. And the 89 with the 5-speed manual, because all of the previous 930 itinerations came with a 4-speed manual, is also super rare. And so I would, if I was in the market, I'd spend all money on this car, and my bid will reflect that. So JP, tell me why. Give me one good reason why this is one of the coolest 911s you can possibly buy from the era.
If you are not a fan of Sir Mix-a-Lot, you should not buy this car. Sir Mix-a-Lot agrees with you and I that this is maybe the coolest Porsche ever made. He says you cannot beat a wide-body turbo drop-top 911. There's nothing better, and he's a Lamborghini guy. If Sir Mix-a-Lot, so there it is. If you don't like back, then this isn't your car. But if you are like Sir Mix-a-Lot and you do enjoy the back from time to time, this would be the car of choice. There is no better baby back than, baby back. Yeah. Woo. Look at that car. And the top works. Look at that. My 993 top doesn't work and it's brand new. It's interesting that on these older ones, you zip out the rear plastic, and then after the top goes up and down, it's just, So anyways, superb, fantastic, wonderful, one of the best Porsches. The end of an era, the wide body turbos, with a 5-speed, that's the only one that they ever made. They didn't make a turbo 9.6, they didn't make turbo 964 cabs. So this is kind of it. Right? There you go. They didn't make turbo 964. They didn't make turbo 993 cabs. So, I think they made one or something like that. I think there's like Jerry Seinfeld has the one or two of them that they actually did make, but nobody could really get those. So, unbelievable car. I don't know where this is. It is kind of a bummer, that brand on the title, but hey, if that means that the price is going to be a little bit more affordable because of that, and maybe this is a car that you can just go ahead and drive and not care, because it would be a shame if this car is bought and just put in a garage and just rubbed with a diaper. That would suck.
Ooh, yeah, seriously. I love this thing, JP. Out of Missouri. Just 22,000 miles. It's at $115,000, and it's on 12 bids. I think this car is going to get a late flurry. I don't know, man. JP,
that's pretty common with Porsches. Everybody waits on the Porsches. I'm thinking that might even be conservative. It really wouldn't surprise me if this car brings $165,000. So I think but the branded title, I don't know, man. I'm gonna change my bid. I'm gonna go high. I'm gonna say 165. I think it's gonna easily break 150, but I could be wrong. Maybe the branded title holds it back, but the car should be worth $180,000. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like a 22,000 mile 89, and that colorway is just stunning, absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. It's one of the prettiest ones I've ever seen. I love it. It's my favorite.
This should be pushing 200, but I'm with you. The branded title is gonna slow it down. I'm gonna say 150. There's just Porsche people are too anal about that kind of dumb stuff, and I wish I were in the market for one of these, because I would love to snatch this thing up and just own it forever.
I know.
Can I interest the guy in a 993 cab?
Yeah, right. $150,000 is a screaming deal in that car. Just insane. Yeah. So anyway, I wish I was in the market. I would swap Ruby for that thing. And
you'd have to. Ruby would probably be worth getting close to that, but you'd still need to come. You need to get rid of Ruby and your
come on with $100,000.
Yeah, and maybe the no, I think Ruby's worth more than that, but maybe a Mercedes getting thrown in there. Anyways, all right, let's go and move on to the next car. What do we got?
All right, so we were on a roll. We looked at a car, a Toyota MR2 JP, a couple weeks ago, and you and I bet in like low teens on that car, which ironically was also out of California, but had like probably 200,000 miles on it. That car barely made it to $9,000, and I just thought it wasn't a fair assessment. So let's look.
And it failed to sell, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so let's look again at a no reserve 1991 Toyota MR2 Turbo. This time we're looking at a vehicle that is in Palo Alto, California. It's a no reserve auction. Our vehicle here now only has 100,000 miles and has largely been, I think, a one owner vehicle its entire life. It looks like it's in really nice condition. And I think this one is going to show us what a really nice version of these ought to bring. Last night it was at $14,000 on 14 bids. I think it got another bid overnight. So no accidents, some service records. The video that I did is really deplorable. I don't know if you want to speak to that, but otherwise, this is, by all accounts, this is a really nice one. This is one I would like to have. This car, I'm telling you, JP, remember last time we looked at that car, I said I had a bad feeling about it, and then it didn't get like another bid. This car, I think this would be a really cool one. It sounds right, you know? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've always loved these. I said it at the time. I think, you were like, nah, I don't ever want one of these. But I was like, yeah, get behind the wheel one. I think it's going to change your mind. This is, they made the Ferrari 348. And then this, if this had a Ferrari badge on it and they could have sold it for, whatever, $100,000 instead of 190. How much was a Ferrari 348 back then? I mean,
yeah, these, about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, they could have, Ferrari should have just licensed this car and put their badges on it, and they would have sold a gajillion of them. I love the styling. Even it's so 90s. It's so kind of this is a 90s car if there ever was one. This is so rad.
Super.
It really was a drastic, complete, total 180 from the earlier MR2, which was square and angular and short. This one kind of had a little bit longer wheelbase and it had all those kind of swoopy 90s aesthetics. All the good things about 90s aesthetics. Some cars are way too 90s. This one is all the right amount of 90s. You have, and there's actually an amazing amount of storage. Look, you got a decent boot in the back behind the engine. There's storage in the front. It's Toyota, so it's going to be super reliable. Absolutely love this car. Would love to rip around. I think there's very few cars that you're going to have more fun than this on the Angeles Crest or on a twisty back road. I mean, and it's a no guilt. Thrash the living daylights out of it, put it away wet, and just go do it again the next time you feel like it. It's always going to be there for you.
200 horsepower, 200 pound-foot of torque, 5-speed manual, rear-wheel drive, mid-engine layout. I mean, this was exotic car on. I just got my first job out of college budget, so it really did sell quite a few of these things, and you don't see them like this nice. I will have to say, just based on my own personal experience, JP, did they make 85% of the MR2s in red?
It sure is. Yeah, I know there were a bunch of green ones. I'm trying to think. Green, black, red, and that's a good point.
White.
I think I've seen a blue one, maybe a white one, but the vast majority. I mean, because they really were little Ferraris.
They really were little Ferraris. I mean, it's very, very funny.
I think I said last time we talked. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you, JP.
No, I was going to say, I think I said last time, too, they were one of the most wrecked cars of the era because people just were not prepared for that kind of power behind them. It was a substantial amount more power than the previous MR2. Yeah. And tire technology in 1990, 91 was not nearly as good as it is now, and everybody bought one of these and immediately wrecked it. That
sounds about right.
Yeah, until the Viper came along and kind of, took that record over really quick.
took the throne.
Yeah.
So JP, I believe in this car. I actually think it's at $14,250. I thought it would have a little more action. Tell me if I'm crazy. I put $21,000. I mean, am I way out of? I don't know.
I mean, my number's 20. I mean, I think that's it's the same number I said last time was like 1999 or 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm dipping right under you, but that was the number I've had the whole time, and I believe I'm going to the same number I had last time. So you're right though. This car is so much better than the other one.
I looked up our number from last time, and I think I put like 11 or 12,000, and you put 15, and our car at 9,500 didn't get another bid, and then didn't sell.
Yeah.
So that was weird. But this one, yeah, let's see if a nice MR2 Turbo will bring 20 grand, or maybe a little more, and see which one of us is right. It may come in just under, but still, that's all the money for the car.
Yeah, the BAT community smelled something fishy on the last one, but this one is certified fresh. So I think it is going to sell, and a new lucky owner. And I think that, like you said, this could basically set the mark for what these are going to be worth. And my guess is we'll see a bunch more of them if this one does bring some money. Because that's what happens. Everybody pulls theirs out of the garage and go, oh, they're worth 20 grand now. I guess it's time to sell. So, okay. All right, last car of the day, you're out.
Yeah, so JP, about 10 years later than the little Toyota MR2 Turbo, Ferrari, pocket Ferrari, budget Ferrari wannabe, Mercedes-Benz took their C-Class platform and created the CLK 430 convertible, basically taking their C-Class platform, stuffing a 4.3-liter V8 that made like 275 horsepower and 300 pound-foot of torque, 5-speed automatic transmission, proper 4C automatic convertible, AMG styling everywhere. This car has 30,000 miles less than our MR2, 70,000 miles out of Naples, Florida. And John, I don't think this car is going to come anywhere near the price that somebody's going to pay for that MR2 Turbo. And there's nothing wrong with this Mercedes. Yeah. How weird is that? Now, I did study the auto check. Apparently, I think the side of the car has been repainted, maybe like an accident with a deer or something early in its life. So it's not perfectly original. But just the idea that these cars are so soft in the secondary market, and a little Toyota from the 90s is actually going to bring like substantially more money than this is hard to wrap my brain around it. I loved these cars when they came out. I liked that Mercedes was making something that was kind of exciting looking. And in the late 90s, when the economy was going crazy, before the dot-com dropped out, there were lines around the block of every Mercedes dealership in the country. It was almost, I remember working for Mercedes in 1999, and we told people there was at least an 18-month waiting list at one of the larger dealerships in Northern California. Things cooled off by the time 2002 came around. And certainly the secondary market hasn't been kind to these because values are soft. John, I know you love convertibles. Do you like this one?
Absolutely. I love this car. In full disclosure, I owned one. It may have, I think it was the first new car. No, it was the second new car I'd ever bought, and probably the last new car that I ever bought. But, I had some reasons for doing it that I won't get into now, but look, this car, it's not a sports car, right? This is just a cruiser. This is a Mercedes. You get in this car and you get on the freeway and you can go 200, well, you're not going to go 200 miles an hour, but you can go 145,000. What is wrong with me? 150 miles an hour effortlessly, and it's just not going to be skipping a beat. You can sip on your cup of coffee. You can touch the wheel with two fingers and just be cruising down the freeway and having a fantastic time. The suspension is every bit as smooth as you would expect it. It does handle better than you would expect given its size and weight. It is a mechanical suspensions, unlike the SL, its big brother. And the SL suspension, I think, is what makes the SLs bad. It's, everyone knows that those cars, the ABC suspension derived from the F1 suspension, the air ride thing, they cost $10,000 to replace on an SL, like a 2003 SL. So this car with a mechanical inspection, you don't ever have to worry about it. It's basically the same powertrain. It's basically the same kind of V8 kind of thing with a Tiptronic, but really nobody's ever really using the Tiptronic part. And you just have a great time in this car and don't worry about it. They're reliable. This is a car that you'll get 150, 160,000 miles on it. It can replace some control arm bushings here and there or whatever, but generally these are they're great cars and they just look great. And I would, we play our Craigslist. We play our Cars and Bids, Bring a Trailer, Who'd You Rather, where we take the hot car of the day, the hot modern car of the day, and compare it to something that you would find on Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer. And this car is exactly the type of car that whatever new Mercedes convertible C-Class or E-Class, or I can't even keep track of whatever Mercedes selling right now, or even BMW or Audi's version of whatever this kind of platform, the small platform, they all have 2-liter turbos, or maybe this car is a big old V8. You cannot beat this car with anything modern that it's in the same class, and you're going to save yourself anywhere from $40,000 to $100,000. This car is not going to make 10 grand. I mean, it's $8,500 right now with 5 bids to go on Cars and Bids. It's out of Florida. That's the only thing I don't like about this car, and I don't think it's going to get another bid.
I think it'll get another bid. I think it will, but it's interesting. Like I said, there's no damage on. There's a no damage impact on the report, and I think it's from when it hit the deer, and then they repainted it, which is kind of a bummer because they repainted the side of the car. But otherwise, this car looks like it's almost brand new. It's super clean. Somebody definitely taking good care of. That being said, I agree with you. I would be a little leery if it spent a long time in Florida. Florida does that heat and humidity, some weird things to interiors, and it could be weird. But that being said, John, I think this car should bring a few more $1,000. So I'm going to go ahead and say this car gets to $12,000.
Wow. Whoa.
It's just too much car not to. I mean, my goodness.
People just don't care about these things. I mean, it's a car that drives down there. You roll up in this car to the valet, and the average person is going to be like, "Wow, is that the new Mercedes?" I mean, it really does hold up. And it looks like $1 million, but they're not worth anywhere. I mean, basically, pull 5 zeros off that is what they're 4 zeros. Yeah. I mean, it's maybe a $10,000 car. Best day.
That little MR2 could possibly bring 10 grand more than this car.
Will.
Yeah. So anyways, what do you think, Johnny? I assume you think it's going to come under my bid.
Yeah, I'll give you a fighting chance and say 10, but I really don't think this thing's getting another bid. I mean, I kind of want to put it...
Does it sell at your bid?
At 10 grand? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
If this person thinks it's not worth, if Cars and Bids let him set a reserve for more than 10, then forget Cars and Bids, man. Cars and Bids is done. There's no way this car, it's just not worth $10,000. It is worth all the money. I mean, it should be worth, this should be a $20,000 car with this few miles and in this kind of condition, but it's just not. I mean, Mercedes and Audis and BMWs, for the most part, they just take a dump when it comes to depreciation, unfortunately. But that's that means great value on the secondary market for someone who wants to be a baller but doesn't want to spend a lot of money. I mean, for $12,000, you could get a nice SL with about the same amount of miles. So it's I mean, and honestly, I'd probably prefer this car over an SL, but most people are going to choose the SL because it's an SL, so... Yeah. All right. Well, we will see what happens. I don't think Cars and Biz is the right place for it, but I am surprised it's even at 8,500. So who the hell knows? It's Friday, and magic happens on Friday, and that's what happens. This is magic happens on Bid Nerds at the end of the week. This has been a week of Bid Nerds. Thank you guys for hanging out. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification button, and share this channel to people so that they know we are the daily nerd out on the most interesting cars and Cars and Biz and Bring a Trailer. And on behalf of my partner, Michael Deeb in San Francisco, I'm John Polnick in Las Vegas, and we wish you happy weekend, and we will see you Monday for a new edition of Bid Nerds. Make sure you check out all our other content on the channel over the weekend. If you just can't get enough nerding out, there's plenty of nerding to do on the YouTube channel, so do it. Michael Deeb, anything to say before we hit end?
Thank you, JP. Good week.
My finger's going down towards the button.